hundreds of children were born through underage mothers, forced into arranged marriages with men upwards of...
Whoa.
And all throughout his chats and phone calls, he fully believes that he's conversing with a 13-year-old boy.
Oh shit, Sergeant.
After waiting some considerable time to find a well-set-up gentleman, Megan was prepared to meet a man she could wind up spending the rest of her life.
Hello friends, so today is the moment you've been waiting for. Well, basically it's my moment that I'm waiting for, because man, it has been a long time, man, since I ever reacted to this dark creator. But usually his name is Nexpo. He has a new video called The Darkest Lost Media Volume 3. And I just realized that this video is like 50 minutes long. Man, this video is gonna be an hour and it's literally late at night. I'm gonna wake up very, very groggy. But without further ado, let's get started. Stay tuned after the credits and special announcement. It's exciting. Oh, also friends, I just going to warn you that there will be like content warning here, that there are some disturbing stuff. I don't know what disturbing stuff will be contained here. There's also flashing lights. And from continuing this video, please like and subscribe for my YouTube channel if you want to see me more reaction of, dark related stuff. Some stuff that may creeps your heebie-jeebies. Church. Okay. Nexpo presents a family. Church again. The Darkest Lost Media. Kinda interesting. It's like a slow progression. Yeah, it's like an interesting intro. Tape 1. The Will of God.
March 21st, 1997. History of the Prophet Joseph Smith.
Okay.
In 5th through 8th grade class. How anxious I am for Heavenly Father's Spirit to touch your minds and hearts. For what the Prophet Joseph Smith did was right.
Hailing from a tiny Utah town called Short Creek was a cult, the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints, or FLDS for short. Most recently run under the grasp of a man named Warren Jeffs, they operated completely under the radar for the better part of the past century. For years, Jeffs and his predecessors maintained strict control over their members, preaching the central idea that plural marriages were not only a God-given right, but were the only way for members to access the kingdom of heaven. He was known to call himself the Prophet, the only member of the church who could talk to God. And if God told him that you should marry someone, you wouldn't go against his will, would you? Wife after wife after wife, the prophet would arrange to wed, not only for the adult men inside the church, but most prominently for himself. Tens, hundreds of women were used as pawns, tickets that they believed would grant them eternal salvation.
Oh my god, that's a lot of women that he controls. And as you can see, friends, like from my past videos, I think it was like, the reaction from Nick Crowley. He has more extreme editing, and from Nexpo's part, the way he edits is extremely minimal and only shows a lot of, images. It's kind of cool that Nexpo lean more into making videos about simplified, flashes of images and explaining them on what the history from this video are.
And as you'd expect, their ages were never considered. Inside the FLDS, hundreds of children were born through underage mothers, forced into arranged marriages with men upwards of...
Whoa! Slow down. We're still in the beginning of the video. God damn. Already? Man, What's with people taking advantage of children these days, man? It's crazy. Crazy. Also extremely disturbing too.
85 years of age, and all of them wholeheartedly believed that they were...
That's kind of cool, actually. You can see, friends, like, this is like, I always love like backroom I think it's not minimal, liminal spaces. Yes, it's called liminal spaces. I always love liminal spaces, like images like this, abandoned stuff. But also, yes, I see he talking about, 85 years old, like taking advantage of, like, oh man, disgusting.
Carrying out the will of God.
Disgusting. False prophets like this, man, they're always around. Nexpo HQ. Is it always rains there in Nexpo HQ? The good thing about Nexpo's editing is because he leaves out a lot of this blank slate where he doesn't talk. It's kind of cool. Like, we can more likely chill and relax when watching his videos. But also for me, it gives me space, I guess, comment on his videos. So it's kind of cool that he leaves out a little bit of space to let us breathe a little, Cozy. I always love it.
The story of the FLDS is one of the darkest I know.
Within your home.
They, too, have troves of media both destroyed and sealed away. We will be diving into the full story of the FLDS very soon. However, they're not fully the reason we're here tonight.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I still wanted to speak a lot.
In 2008,
because he might,
a game show
speak
premiered
again.
on Fox called
And
The
I might try to
Moment of
overlap
Truth.
our speeches.
It involved contestants answering highly controversial and often abrasive questions in front of a live studio audience in exchange for an ever-growing grand prize. Prior to each episode, contestants would take a polygraph test to ensure the accuracy of their responses on stage. And I'm sure you can see how this could go downhill very quickly. Answer a highly personal, highly secret question correctly in front of the world, and the bag of cash dangling over...
Oh man. But for me, friends, there's actually a way to hack polygram, I think it was called. There's actually a way to hack it. Basically, the way you do it is, I think, strengthen your arms or tighten your butt. It's basically like trying to thicken your muscles so that the heartbeat won't, detect it. That's how the way to bypass lie detectors. Kind of weird.
For your head grows ever more. Answer it wrong, however, and your affairs are exposed in front of thousands and are forever etched into broadcast history. In August of 2010, a contestant named Melanie Williams took the stage for the show's 9th episode of its 2nd season. Unlike those that competed before her, however, Melanie carried with her a dark, disturbing past.
While living in a polygamous community, did you know of any underage girls who were married to adult men?
Yeah.
That answer is true.
Wow. But nothing could stop her dramatic climb to the top.
As it turns out, Melanie Williams grew up inside the FLDS and witnessed firsthand the atrocities committed against the women and children within. To this day, Season 2, Episode 9, her debut, is completely scrubbed from existence, leaving us with only an archived trailer hinting at the inner details she revealed. Interestingly, even though Episode 9 is considered lost, Melanie actually returned for Episode 10.
Wait. So are these media have been deleted or have been hidden from the public? Because I'm pretty sure people are trying to, scrub this under the radar. This maybe sounds concerning. But if they just remove it for the sake of, privacy, I can understand it. But hopefully they can use this as, at least some kind of evidence to capture the people who are behind the FLDS, I think it was called.
Interestingly, even though Episode 9 is considered lost, Melanie actually returned for Episode 10, one that has been found in full. Within it, she takes the stage for a final $500,000 question. the grand prize of this show, and something no contestant before her has ever been able to win. In the beginning, host Mark Wahlberg warns her of what she's about to be faced with, giving her an opportunity to opt out. However, after reading it and taking a moment to really let it sink in, she decides apprehensively that she's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it for my dad. I'm gonna go for it.
You're going for it? Holy moly!
Are you okay?
Holy moly.
It's a tough question, excuse me. But it's a tough question for me. It's a tough question. But I can do it.
Tearful and aware of what she's about to reveal, her father questions what could possibly be causing a reaction like this. She has, up to this point, aired out so much already. How much more really is there?
Yeah, if she really have this kind of reaction, it's probably something that is traumatic or extremely repulsive, you know. But I gotta say that she is kind of brave to even tell the truth and like try to be open with this. But man, even I'm trying to like really prepare for the truth or what she's going to say.
Yes? Okay. For $500,000, Melanie Williams. Question 21. Do you believe your father, as an adult, has ever had sexual relations with a minor?
Yes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I was like so tense, oh. Well, at least there is some justice that she openly admit to this, you know, so I guess his father is the one who's guilty. It's kind of interesting, like she is crying, even though I guess she does feel guilty or does feel hurt by the trauma, maybe. But from her way and decision to go there in the first place, you know, to reveal all the truth, I guess she was kind of ready to say all of this stuff openly to the public, you know, and exposing his dad. Tragic. But hey, I think he deserves it. He deserves to be revealed as the monster he truly is.
That answer is true.
She did get the money too, so congratulations.
The audience erupts as Melanie sits, shocked at what she just unveiled to the world. Her father, equally stunned. And it all culminates in one of the strangest, most dystopian moments that I have ever seen on broadcast television. As the family embraces, Wahlberg questions her father about this illegal relationship, to which he completely downplays it.
That culture.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Let's hear what John feels about it.
Gosh. I'm not sure when I did this, I knew what a minor was. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Wife number 2 was 17. She had just gotten out of high school.
That is just disgusting. That's abhorrent, man. Trying to downplay a serious question like that.
In January of 2011, over 4 months after this episode aired, Melanie Williams took to her personal blog to clear up any speculation about her time on the show. Within a post made on January 7th, she claims that her father had actually lied that night, that the girl wasn't 17 like he claimed. In reality, she was 14, and her name was Joy.
Man, it's truly heartbreaking to hear like children like this getting taken advantage of, because you know the moment they will grow up, they're gonna live through this trauma, because you know children are more like absorb a lot in the world. because that's how they learn through the world. So everything, their minds are very clear of what they remember from their younger years, especially like if they get traumatized. Let's say when they grow up, they're gonna think that all of their trauma was normal. Even I cannot think but like this. Because in the past, I was actually, physically being harmed by my dad, especially when he's drunk, the usual story there. And I always thought this was normal. And to grow up in, thank God for YouTube to expose, how the psychological stuff will work as a child. They will eventually grow up like this. But for me, it's like I learned that and I'm trying to look at myself to have some change, That's why until today, I'm never, ever going to drink again. I'm pretty sure there's nothing good that will benefit from it. So that's why I'll try to live as I can to live through that change, because of my traumatic past and become a different person. Man, it's very hard, especially from children that are still taken advantage of by other people. Extremely disgusting.
As far as it's known, her father has neither been investigated nor charged since this aired, and there's been no further updates from Melanie herself. Even so, this broadcast is one of the strangest that I have ever watched, and I wouldn't be surprised if it contributed to the Moment of Truth's cancellation. Regardless of whether Season 2, Episode 9 is ever found, Melanie Williams successfully exposed the illegal atrocities committed by one of the world's darkest cults in front of thousands. A cult that has done everything in its power to keep its depraved history a secret. And a cult, the FLDS, who manipulated and abused women and children for over a century.
Over a century?
All veiled.
What?
Under the will of God.
They've been doing this for a long time? What?
We'll return after these messages.
I'll try to skip it. Yeah, so sorry, Nexpo. I have to unfortunately skip this. I don't know why, he's kind of handsome. Not gonna lie. Who do you think, friends, is the most handsome? Is it Nick Crowley or Nexpo? I don't know. What do you think? Comment down below. That's a very weird question. Wait, I'm going to do some research, a little bit of research here, friends. Wait a minute. I see, friends. So the FLDS has been shut down and has been raided. In the morning of July 26, 1953, 102 Arizona State Police, 102 Arizona State Police officers and National Guard soldiers raided the fundamentalist Mormon community. They're Mormons. Interesting. Didn't know they're part of the Mormon community. Oh my God, including 236 children? And 150 are not allowed to return for their parents. Yeah, obviously, because they've been treated like hell. So, well, thank God they've been, shut down at least. So there's a good ending from there at least. Man, some monsters really need to be stopped like this, man. And I still can't imagine like 256 children from that church has been taken advantage of, which is disgusting, man. Disgusting too.
It's October 1999. Residents on the south end of Fort Worth, Texas, notice a certain smell lingering in the air.
Can I just also appreciate the shot of this? It's kind of cool, like the silhouettes of the barbed wire, I guess, and the flowers, like completely contrast the sky. It's so clear. I wonder how he got this type of shots and B-roll.
It's repugnant, nauseating,
disgusting,
a pungent, pervasive odor of rot.
Nice.
The stench is inescapable, rapidly enveloping parks, homes, and businesses. Something in the area is festering, and it's carrying an inescapable wave of what can only be described as the smell of deteriorating flesh. Disgusted and worried, residents in the area contact authorities in the hopes that anyone can figure out what the hell is going on. This odor has come up so quickly. So where in the world is it coming from?
Are you in the field?
Just look for this green pea.
Check out this week's Green Price specials on all flavors of Jell-O frozen pudding pops.
For the sweetness of the grapes at Ralph's USA.
Oh yeah, friends, I just realized too, and I learned this a lot. I think it was, yeah, I learned recently that jelly are made of bones from pigs, I think it was, or cows. Let me do my research first. But I think they were made of bones. Ah, here it is, friends. Jello are usually made by gelatin, derived from bone, skin of and animals, unless plant-based gelatins are used. It is suitable for vegetarian diets. This is so weird that I learned that something that is soft as like a jelly is made from bones. What?
It's like my mother always told me, get what you want, but get it at Wallbounds.
I know how good
Not Walmart?
quality meats taste, but you have to see how good Wallbounds prices look.
Damn.
Resting at the corner of Hemphill and West Fogg Street in Fort Worth, Texas, sits an abandoned building. A grocery store called the Mexia Supermarket.
Okay.
Known to have been owned by a family from Laos, it served the surrounding neighborhood for years. But here, they were nowhere to be found. Their store is rotting, their home vacant, and it's like they up and left, leaving the only remnants of their existence. A neighborhood suffering from an inescapable smell, and a grocery store that's festering right under its own weight.
Nobody come to check out on it from the inside? Man, you know it's so scary when the music hits. Oh, okay, this is the video inside.
Inside, rotting deli and meat discolored as bacteria consumed it. Produce began to wither and emit hazardous gas. Frozen goods and milk exploded due to an uncontrolled fermentation inside them. And the air inside, unbreathable, as the oxygen was completely depleted. As you'd expect, the building, by the time it was found, was in a state of complete disrepair, as maggots, roaches, rats, and thousands of flies had nested within its crevices. The scene?
What happened here?
Unreal. And all of this was the product of a building left to decay for nearly 3 months.
Interesting. What happened? Seems like people abandoned it. It's kind of weird because I'm actually kind of smelling the rotten stuff by just looking at it.
In the following days, the Fort Worth Health Department officially declared the site as a health hazard, sparking a massive cleanup operation. But as they assessed the building, they realized that it would prove far more complicated than initially imagined. Because of the live rodents, millions of insects, and the buildup of hazardous gas, demolishing or burning the building down wasn't possible, as everything within it would simply migrate to the neighboring homes. And so, instead, a crew was hired to clean it by hand. Decked out in hazmat suits and oxygen tanks, they were tasked with bagging and removing the rotten food, disinfecting every surface inside, and fumigating the premises, all while navigating through the millions of insects surrounding them. Reportedly, the initial scene was so infested with flies that cleanup crews couldn't even see more than a few feet in front of them. The cleanup efforts took nearly a month to complete, and by December, the building stood completely empty, yet still carrying a lingering odor of rot. Years later, it was eventually bought out and rebranded as a store called Terry's. However, according to a review left on Google, nearly 14 years after Mexia, the place, even still, reportedly smelled like death. All of the footage you've seen so far has been taken from a 2010 History Channel documentary called Life After People. And while it gives us an inside look at the conditions there, it's merely a small piece of this story. As it turns out, tons of news coverage was taken, showcasing both the interior and exterior of the building before the cleanup operation began. However, as of now, it stands completely inaccessible. According to an online user named The Hookup, the news coverage of Mexia depicted a scene so repulsive that the windows appeared blackened due to the millions of roaches and flies covering them. I did have dreams about this one neighborhood in Fort Worth that was due to a news story at the time. A supermarket in this one low-income area of town just closed one day. The images on the news are what gave me bad dreams. Windows blackened by millions of roaches, rats in swarms. The smell had to be apocalyptic. 2-month-old fish, 2-month-old carrots, pork, thousands upon thousands of rat droppings. I was obsessed with the story, hence why I dreamt about it, being in there. It still freaks me out.
Whoa. Apocalyptic, I think, is an understatement.
This 1 minute of video is the only known footage in existence depicting the absolute nightmare left behind inside Mexia Supermarket. And as we've seen, while evidence of other archives are out there, they have seemingly been buried in the void of broadcast history. With attention to it growing day by day, perhaps someday more footage about this will emerge. However, as of now, this is all we have.
Yes.
And it just might stay that way for years to come.
Man, imagine a cockroach or some kind of large insect that will evolve from that supermarket because of some kind of radiation, I think. It's gonna be an early...
This is VH1.
The body in the suitcase. Interesting. Man, all these edits are also very nostalgic.
After waiting some considerable time to find a well-set-up gentleman, Megan was prepared to meet a man she could wind up spending the rest of her life with.
I'm nervous. I'm excited. But most of all,
August 2nd, 2009.
From the title alone and from the woman here showcase, I think the title is A Body in a Suitcase. I think those two things are now connected to some extent, and it's gonna be very bad from here on out. So we're gonna see.
I'm excited.
And I'm kind of concerned.
August 2nd,
and worried.
2009. A reality show airs on VH1 starring a woman named Megan Hauserman.
Okay.
It's called Megan Once a Millionaire, and it involves 18 suitors vying for her love by competing in challenges and trying to impress her with high-dollar dates. Out of every contestant on the show, a man named Ryan Jenkins had stood out to her. He was charming and witty, a trait so prevalent that the production team granted him the nickname Smooth Operator.
Smooth Operator.
Now, drama was, and still is, no stranger to reality TV, and Megan Once a Millionaire was no different. With such a bombastic cast of rich men vying for a woman by primarily flaunting their wealth, I'm sure you can see how this fell into the junk food category of shows out there. No, that's all completely fine, and nothing about Megan Once a Millionaire was even that big of a deal. In fact, we wouldn't even be talking about this show today if it weren't for the fact that by the time this show was set to air its 4th episode, Ryan Jenkins' wife was dead.
What? What happened? With who's Ryan? Ryan Jenkins? The Smooth Operator? Wait, I kind of forgot. Let's just continue.
August 15th.
What happened?
Police are investigating a dumpster in Buena Park, California. Reportedly, a foul smell is emanating from it, yet it isn't the kind you'd expect.
Really?
This isn't the smell of trash.
Oh.
It's not an animal.
It's a body from a bag.
Something else. A few moments later, they dig out a densely packed suitcase. And upon opening it,
how did he get this shot from Nexpo? Kinda crazy.
Staring skyward is the mutilated, mangled body of a blonde female. Her teeth are gone, her fingers severed, and her clothing nowhere to be found.
Oh my god.
Immediately, the police open a case. They realize that whoever did this went out of their way to sever any identifying feature from her body. However, curiously, one still remained. You see, this woman had breast implants, and given that these carry their own serial numbers, it gave authorities a potential lead for identification. Even still, however, this woman was unrecognizable, ultimately leaving 3 pivotal questions to linger. Who was this? Who did this? And how in the world did she end up here?
And some people are just psychopath to do this. Okay. Seems like we have a lead. Oh, only 12 hours later? Damn, that was fast.
12 hours later, authorities receive a phone call. It's from Ryan Jenkins, and he's pleading. His wife, an LA model named Jasmine Fiore, had reportedly up and vanished. He claims that the previous night, the two arrived back at their home in Los Angeles before she left to run errands. However, since then, nothing. Over the next 48 hours, the breast implants were verified to belong to Jasmine Fiore. And as a result, her husband Ryan Jenkins had become a person of interest in her murder. Yet, once they began looking into his movements over the few days prior, they realized that Jasmine Fiore, contrary to Ryan's testimony, had never arrived home.
Okay, that's interesting.
As it turns out, on the night of her death, the pair had gone to the La Berge Hotel in Del Mar, California for a poker tournament. And on CCTV, the pair can be seen arriving, getting settled in, and leaving. Oddly, however, at 4:30 in the morning on August 15th, just hours before Jasmine's body was uncovered, they discover a panicked Ryan Jenkins, yet he's completely alone. Jasmine, wherever they went, never returned with him. She was never seen alive again.
What? That doesn't make sense. That was actually kind of quick.
Immediately, Jenkins becomes their lead suspect. However, tracking him down proved to be difficult. He went on the run, from their home in LA to Nevada, Nevada to Utah, Utah to Canada, and all of this was done in the span of just 2 days.
That is fast.
Because of this, he was officially charged with the murder of Jasmine Fiore on August 20th. Yet, because he was evading arrest, he always seemed to be one step ahead. It wasn't until the morning of August 23rd when authorities would locate him at a motel called Thunderbird in Hope, Canada. However, their encounter wouldn't go at all as planned. That morning, Ryan Jenkins had never checked out. In fact, for the 3 days he was staying there, not a sound ever came from his room, and no one ever left.
Damn.
In reality, he had taken his own life, and inside his room he awaited, hanging from the motel coat rack.
Okay. So, it seems like a clear-cut case. He was guilty after all.
Search for a reality show contestant charged with the first-degree killing of his ex-wife is finally over. Ryan Jenkins was found dead in a motel room in Canada yesterday, an apparent suicide. But officials say the investigation is far from over. Zuleika Nathu from the CBC.
Okay.
Following his capture, VH1 had placed Megan Once a Millionaire on an indefinite hiatus, leaving episodes 4 to 6, the remainder of the season, never to air. After an internal investigation, it was found that Jenkins was charged with assault over 2 years prior to filming, something that should have restricted him from ever being allowed on TV. Even further, there were reportedly countless other contestants with charges as well, opening up the door to accusations that VH1 perhaps overlooked these in hopes of sowing drama and driving up ratings. For years, Episodes 4 through 6 of Megan Once a Millionaire was unseen by anyone outside of the studio. However, in 2020, Megan herself released episodes 4 and 5 on her personal YouTube channel. Even still, though, the finale eludes the public, and given the controversy that took place, it's unlikely to ever be released.
Whatever happened to that ending?
To this day, VH1 and the entire landscape of reality TV has felt the effects of this tragedy, yet nothing could ever compare to the grief the family of Jasmine Fiore underwent as they lost their loved one. According to Jasmine Fiore's mother, their relationship was never healthy. They were always fighting, always arguing about something, but never did she think that Ryan Jenkins would take the life of her daughter. Never did she think that he would leave her in the condition he did.
Man,
It felt,
especially from this type of toxic relationship, people will always kind of go out of hand, you know. It's always like better to stay away from this toxic relationship, because especially when people try to put hands on you, you know, and especially harming you. That's probably the boundary we all don't want to cross.
It's like a complete nightmare. Yet it was painfully, agonizingly real. Megan Once a Millionaire, to this day, remains as an eerie look at the faces people put on for cameras. Yet once they're off and everyone inevitably returns home, we truly don't know any of them. Reality TV, they call it.
Wasn't
even
real.
when it isn't reality.
Yeah.
At all.
It's unreal. And I love this music, man. From the background. It reminds me from my favorite video game. My friend Lewis. Tape number 4.
And last week's number 1 down to number 2. Underworld from Ultimate.
Facebook.
It's late at night, and a conversation is playing out between two online users, InExcess00 and No1093. It's charged, inappropriate, a glance into the most depraved desires of the human psyche.
Uh-oh.
This correspondence carries on for days.
What?
However, there's just one problem.
Problem? What type of problem?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Are they gay? Just like they're gay. They saying I love you in the monitor, I guess, from the messages. So.
Nothing.
Did you go get your other money?
Yes, I did.
Good for you.
Did you leave yet?
No.
You didn't leave yet?
No.
Are you going to come or not?
Yes, I shall.
Well, when are you going to come over?
Well, a little later.
A little later?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah, I guess.
Gee.
You're silly.
You're the silly one.
What are you talking about?
InExcess00 in the real world is a 56-year-old man named Louis Conrad, and all throughout his chats and phone calls, he fully believes that he's conversing with a 13-year-old boy.
Oh shit. I thought like I thought the other end was like a fully, you know, an adult person. I didn't expect it to be a young person.
November 11th, 2004. Dateline NBC airs a show that you just might have heard of. It's called To Catch a Predator, and in collaboration with police and a watchdog.
Yeah, to catch the predator. They kind of find out a police. I think it was a higher police, you know. He was unfortunately charged by Chris Hansen. I think it was Chris Hansen. It went so awry that they canceled the show from that main on. I think it was an officer I think he was a chief officer, I think. He was caught, texting a minor. And because the predator, like, they tried to investigate him, but he was like evading, and he committed, he killed himself.
A group named Perverted Justice. They performed sting operations around the country, luring in and exposing predators on national television. In July of 2006, the production team commenced a multi-month sting operation in the town of Murphy, Texas, for a proposed 2-part special in the show's second season.
That's crazy.
Among those caught were a 54-year-old math teacher named Stanley Kendall, a 52-year-old oil drilling consultant named Randall Wolford, and a 56-year-old district attorney for Kaufman County, Texas, named Louis Conrad. Aside from the surprising number of high-profile individuals all living a secret life, Conrad starkly stood out among the others. For years, he climbed the ranks of the Texas legal system, contributing to the prosecution of countless criminals. Because of this, he carried an extensive knowledge of Texas law, something that the police and production team knew they'd have to carefully navigate if they were successfully to convict this guy.
Yeah, they have to be very careful, man. Because when it comes to these type of people, they can always like try to bail themselves out. They have to like get them by the neck, I guess. Cut them by the throat.
For his entire career, Conrad was well-liked and respected, they thought. So why in the world is he doing this?
Wait, I think this is the episode you're going to show. Is this the show? I think,
as the months carried on.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be the final. I think he's showcasing the final episode of, To Catch the Predator. Basically, what I'm telling you from a while ago, this is probably going to happen. As I remember,
the conversations between Louis Conrad and No One 093 would only become more depraved. Louis would share explicit images, express a strong desire to meet, and would consistently bring up subjects that a 13-year-old has no business talking about online. But throughout all of this, little did he know that No One 093 wasn't who he said he was. The entire persona was a setup, and the predator, Louis Conrad, had fallen straight into his trap.
This trap.
According to Texas law, engaging in explicit conversation with a minor is a third-degree felony, a crime that Louis Conrad had, without a doubt, heavily partook in. Because of this, on November 5th, 2006, Tarrant County PD had obtained a search warrant and set out to his home to finally arrest him. When they arrived, the police had hoped that Conrad would recognize them and come out to talk.
I think this went so bad.
However, his behavior wasn't so straightforward. Through his window, they could see a TV playing and a computer running, yet Louis was nowhere to be seen. And so, they break in, clear out room after room, yet once they make it to his main hallway, they discover him standing eerily still, seemingly awaiting them.
Okay.
Frozen in place, Louis begins pleading, explaining that he's not gonna hurt anyone. However, before the police can react, he, out of nowhere, pulls out a handgun from behind his back, turns it on himself, and takes his own life. As the camera crew stood outside, the sound of a loud crack had broken the stillness in the air, and for a brief moment, they were unaware of the scene awaiting them inside. No one expected Louis Conrad to do this. No one expected him to prey on an underage kid.
Yeah.
No one expected any of this.
2 decades, shot himself. We watched as an emergency medical team arrived and hoped they could somehow save him. But as Conrad is brought out on a stretcher, it's clear his condition is grave.
To this day, this incident is regarded as one of the darkest in To Catch a Predator's history. And because of litigation and their dwindling relationship with advertisers, the show was canceled the following year.
Yeah, this is so sad. While their episodes have been canceled. It's kind of interesting that the Nexpo showcased this final episode from them. It's kind of unfortunate that they've been canceled too.
Most aspects of this case, like the chat logs, the phone calls, and the aftermath, are readily accessible online.
Ah, really?
There is one piece of media that has, to this day, never been released. Reportedly, there's an audio tape of Conrad's final words taken from police body cameras. However, for obvious reasons, it's remained sealed away. The Louis Conrad story is one of the most depraved situations that never should have happened. He was a man who knew better. A man who should have done better. A man
that could have, could have used his power as for the better. But it's kind of unfortunate that he abused it for his own depraved actions.
Who preyed on the most vulnerable subset of humanity. While the recording of his final moments may never see the light of day, his vile actions will forever be known, and his name immortalized as a monster.
As he should.
That once lived among us.
Among us! Among us! But for real though, he kind of deserved to be named as a monster. But still, among us! Very sassy, baka. I'm sorry, by the way. 6 minutes? I love Discovery, man. I used to watch that as a kid. I love the science from it. Silent Hill?
It's the early 2000s.
Silent
Hill 2 haunts the world. Circuit City runs a special on camcorders. And over on CBS Channel 11, a bear enthusiast named Timothy Treadwell appears on Letterman.
Bear?
By every measure, Timothy Treadwell is a lifelong wildlife admirer. For the past 11 years, he's gone out of his way to live with bears native to Katmai National Park in Alaska, documenting his experiences wherever he can. Anytime this man was out in the wild, he had a camera on him and seemed to carry a remarkable lack of fear as he interacted with animals that could quite literally end his life at any moment. Throughout the 1990s, Treadwell was known to travel across the US, educating aspiring young adults on the intricacies of bears and their relationship with their natural environment. With this, he would share videos of his excursions, catalyzing an appreciation for the natural world to a new generation of young minds. These efforts would cause Treadwell to skyrocket in popularity. By the early 2000s, he had effectively become a household name. From what it seemed, Treadwell's way of life was inherently dangerous, yet entirely rewarding. A dance with the devil at every turn, yet it was something he was massively enamored by. He felt this sense of oneness, a connection to a species that humans, for as long as we've lived, have inherently feared.
I don't think we need to be oneness of, the things that we feared, because we feared it for a reason, man. We fear it for a reason. We try to avoid things that we fear, of course. But in today's society, people, they try to negate their fear nowadays. So, no matter if some people are, into those risky type of situations, they kind of negate their fear, I guess.
In October of 2003, Timothy Treadwell had convinced his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, to venture out with him to Katmai National Park. Contrary to his other excursions, however, this one was markedly late in the year. You see, October's on the brink of hibernation season, a time in which bears are aggressively scavenging for food to get them through the winter. On top of this, there was a drought that plagued the area that year, drying up the food supply and causing an extra layer of aggression with the native wildlife.
Yikes.
Effectively, the environment was incredibly tense. Competition ran high. Yet, even still, Timothy convinced Amy to trust him, as he was eager to continue his study of a species that he's carried a lifelong fascination with.
Oh my god, this is very, very dangerous, man. This is just like, I think this is just like, it's like gasoline, man. It's just asking for that gasoline to be lit on fire. Also, I just realized, what does the 6 minutes, from this video is going to be? Kind of a very interesting title, 6 minutes.
It's been noted that Amy never wanted to go on this trip.
Damn.
In fact, she feared bears. Painfully so.
And they're both gonna die, are they?
It's the next day, and the forest is quiet.
What happened?
An air taxi pilot named Willie Fulton lands his plane near the couple's campsite to pick them up for their trip back home.
Damn.
Upon jumping out and looking around, however, Fulton quickly realizes that something isn't right. Timothy and Amy are nowhere to be seen, and all that greets him is a torn-up campsite and a bear. A very disgruntled bear. Confused by what he's witnessing and fearing for his safety, Fulton jumps back into his aircraft and calls in a report to the area's park rangers. And once they arrive, they shoot the bear dead, scour the surrounding area, and shockingly, uncover a scene completely unexpected.
Well, it should be expected because of the bear's aggression. But I guess oh my god, there's a lot of blood. But I guess they never anticipated that bears would be this aggressive, So, man, there's a lot of blood trails. I guess we expect the worst for both of them, man. Very, as I said, man, if there's danger, you should run away and avoid the risk,
Throughout their campsite, the mutilated, half-eaten remains of Timothy and Amy are scattered across the ground. Their bodies have been violently torn apart. Timothy's head and arms are littered around the camp, and Amy is haphazardly buried in a pile of dirt next to their tent. That night, Timothy Treadwell and Amy Huguenard lost their lives at the hand of a wild bear. And in the 85-year history of Katmai National Park, the two of them were the first to ever die this way.
Wow.
While investigating the campsite, the park rangers surprisingly came across a camera that recorded the attack. Reportedly, the lens cap was left on, leaving just 6 minutes of audio at the very end of their tape depicting their final moments.
Damn, this is going to be very disturbing audio to be recorded from. And it's kind of interesting too that 85 years, nobody have died from a bear attack? That's crazy. I'm pretty sure no people would ever go from, this type of parks in the end of the day because of the, inherent risk of the bears. So I guess there two are the exceptions, and unfortunately they have been made as an example to, die from this type of attack.
To this day, this audio has never been released.
Okay, rightfully so.
However, write-ups from those who had heard it firsthand paint a picture straight out of a nightmare. It supposedly went something like this. The tape begins with the sound of Timothy outside of their tent during a storm. A bear has wandered into their camp. However, before he can react, he's violently attacked. In immense distress, he begins to scream, pleading for Amy to come to his aid. And so she unzips the tent, heads outside, and commands for Timothy to play dead. A few moments later, and believing Timothy to be deceased, the bear retreats into the dark, to which Amy, in complete shock, rushes to Timothy's aid. Understandably, she's screaming and crying. Her boyfriend, a man who spent his entire life devoted to nature, has just been brutally attacked by the very thing he loved. But as it sinks in, the bear out of nowhere returns to Timothy, grabs his body, and drags him into the dark.
What? There are some cases where bear friends, I think I heard this, but I'm not a bear expert. Of course, I live in the Philippines where bear doesn't exist, thankfully. But usually bears don't eat dead bodies for some reason, and I don't know why this is. They kind of left out some parts of the body, and they just eat just a little bit part of the body, which is kind of very interesting for a bear to do. But yeah, that's only what I heard. So take that from a grain of salt, of course. Always avoid bear as much as possible, of course. Damn, that's so sad. Finally returns to that something calm.
Since this incident, the one and only copy on this tape has been left in the possession of Treadwell's longtime friend, Jewel Palovak, who to this day has never listened to it. And aside from the authorities, the only other person who's known to have heard it is documentarian Werner Herzog. Just a few seconds in, however, he pulled his headphones off, instructed Jewel never to listen to it, and strongly urged her to destroy it. As far as it's known, Jewel Palovak remains in possession of this fabled tape and has vowed to both keep it sealed away and to never listen to it in her lifetime.
Yeah.
With this, the final moments of Treadwell and Huguenard's lives are shrouded in a cloud of uncertainty, leaving the world around them to eternally speculate about it. This tape, much like with Christine Chubbuck, is one of the darkest, most haunting cases of lost media that I truly believe we will never get our hands on.
Wait, never watched Chubbuck? Is that her, Christine Chubbuck? I never heard of this incident before.
Is one of the darkest, most haunting cases of lost media that I truly believe we will never get our hands on.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy that never should have happened. A freak incident deep in the woods. 6 minutes of audio depicting one of the most gruesome ways to die that we may never hear in our lifetime.
So I am inside
Mexia,
former Mexia.
Former Mexia.
I don't smell it. Well, sort of.
Sort of? Kinda hilarious.
Woo! Okay, so update. I didn't really smell anything.
Okay.
They cleaned it up pretty well. Maybe my smell just sucks. I don't know, but it smells like a normal store to me. I had to do it. Had to do a smell test. Anyway, I'm gonna go home now and finish this video because, dude, I've been teasing this for way too damn long. But anyway,
it's been teasing this for way too long. I didn't even heard of it. Oh, there's more from this?
Okay, so I've
Goddamn.
summoned you here today because I want to fill you in on something that I've been building in complete secret. It's a type of project that I've literally wanted to do since I started this channel. I can't say exactly what it is just yet, but I will be uploading a brand new type of video on March 5th that you will not want to miss. For the past couple years now, my upload schedule slowed down quite a bit, and paradoxically, I've been wanting to bring you guys more mysteries to chew on. I've been doing a lot of building and restructuring behind the scenes, and finally, on March 5th, we'll be able to kick this plan into motion and bring my vision to life. Again, I can't share exactly what it is just yet, but if you do some digging, you just might find it early. Seriously, thank you all so much for being here all these years. We're coming up on 8 years of Nexpo now, and it still blows my mind every day that so many of you watch my content. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. When it comes to this new project, so much love, passion, stress, nerves, literally everything has gone into this. I am equal parts nervous and excited for you to see it. I truly hope you like it as much as I've enjoyed building it. A new chapter of Nexpo is upon us, and so with that, I'll see you on the 5th. Thank you all so much again for watching. I love you all, and good night.
Hell yeah, brother. I think I'm even like inspired from Nexpo, you know, saying good night and good evening, good afternoon from the end of my videos because of him. So yeah, I'm actually very excited to have his new chapter of his video, and I'm here to react for it because I'm excited. New content for me. No, I'm just really excited from Nexpo, man, and I really love you to support Nexpo too, man. I actually watched him when I was still a teenager, and until today. Yes, I'm into dark stuff when I was teenager. I just love like the mysteries of the world, you know. It's just curiosity, I guess, and learn things to what trying to avoid, you know. Because man, these are scary and dark, and that's what I enjoy. That's why I enjoy this type of like dark types of media. But yeah, even though I mean almost all of us, you know, are scared from uploading all of our stuff that we work so hard, and you know, we try to upload it and we fear that people might not like. And even the first time I recorded this video too, like I upload the first like my face reveal from this video, I'm even like so scared about it. And then people was like, oh, you actually kind of look cool, and they all love my mustache for some reason. But yeah, I guess the one thing that I learned from those type of stuff is really just put it out there, you know, just let the world see what it does, and whatever happens, you know. People don't like it, people don't like it. If people love it, people love it, you know. You can't control other people at the end of the day. Whatever you upload is just what they judge, and you know, they're gonna see either the good side or bad side from it, but you just gonna keep moving forward, I guess. So yeah, friends, that's the end of this video, and I hope it's a great message from, you know, having like a light-hearted video on this type of reaction. It's kind of weird that there's a very scary, you know, you watch this very creepy and scary stuff, and unfortunately disturbing and disgusting stuff, you know. But it's kind of cool to have a little bit of light-hearted stuff in the end of each video from this man, because it is extremely unhealthy to always, you know, dive into these type of negativities. But I guess we always, you know, end for a good note when it comes to these dark times. It gives you a little bit of hope, you know. So that's the end of the video, friends. And man, I'm actually very happy, and I've been enjoying watching this video, man. So yeah, thank you for watching, friends, and good night.